Hi everyone, welcome to Kole Sukailu, Real Aikaiwa Shadowing. Let's get started with today's shadowing lesson. Listen to today's real native conversation. Focus on the rhythm and shadow along. Hyomo, Ishoni, step up, Shimasho. Practice daily to master vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and rhythm. Repeat. Try again and again. Zehi. Shanaru no Toroku wo. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Okay, so, you know how in Japanese we use chinamini to add a little extra something to a conversation? Like, by the way, or incidentally. Well, what if I told you there's a bunch of cool ways to do that in English, too?
Oh, totally. It's not just one phrase fits all, right? There's actually a few that can make your English sound way more natural.
Exactly. And they all have their own little nuance, which can make conversations flow way smoother.
So let's get into some of these, though.
All right, let's start with an easy one, by the way.
The classic.
Yeah. It's so versatile, you can throw it in at the beginning or end of a sentence, and it works just fine.
And it's like the most common one, like everyone uses it.
Totally. It's perfect for when you want to change the topic slightly or just throw in a little related tidbit.
Give me an example.
Okay, so picture this. We're going to the Italian restaurant tonight, by the way. Did you call to make a reservation?
See? Simple, and it works every time, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what's another good one?
Okay. Next up is as a side note.
Ooh, that's a good one. A little more formal, maybe?
Yeah, it's great for a presentation or maybe a slightly more formal chat. It's like you're saying, just to add something here.
Right. It signals, hey, this is extra info, but it's still important.
Exactly. It's like you're giving a little parenthetical statement, you know?
Example?
Sure, like, we saw an increase in sales this quarter. As a side note, we also improved our marketing strategy.
I like it. It sounds very businessy, but you could still use it in normal chat.
Yeah, and it keeps the flow going. It's not too jarring when you add that bit of extra information.
Okay, last one, but definitely not the least. Incidentally.
Ah, yes, incidentally. It's kind of like, oh, speaking of which, right?
Yeah, it's like you're adding something that just popped into your head that is still somehow related to the topic.
Yeah, it feels a bit more like a, by the way, with a sprinkle of formality, wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's got this vibe of, oh, this is a relevant but somewhat unexpected addition.
Exactly, like you've discovered something while you're on the topic.
How about an example?
All right, we were talking about travel, and incidentally, I found a great deal on flights to Japan.
Perfect. And this makes it sound super smooth and natural, not forced at all.
Absolutely. So you don't just cut off and jump into something new, it feels like. Natural.
Okay, so we've got by the way for a casual topic change or adding a quick note.
Then we've got as a side note for a slightly more formal addition of information.
And finally, incidentally, for those kind of, oh, by the way moments that feel slightly more important.
Right. So those are a few great options. You've got these 3 phrases to help sound less like a textbook and more like a native speaker.
Exactly. These are your secret weapons to make your English more like a conversation and not an English lesson.
Absolutely. And practice them. You know, it'll become second nature pretty quickly.
So let's recap those phrases for our listeners, right? The first one we talked about was, by the way.
Then we had, as a side note.
And finally, don't forget, incidentally.
All right, we've finished today's lesson. How did you find it? Kyo mo sukoshi zutsu step up. Dekimashita ne. Hontoni. Sugoi desu. Please let me know your thoughts or requests in the comments. And Zehi cheneru no toroku wo yoroshiku onegai shimasu. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again. Ashita mo, ishoni, gambari mashone. See you next time. Bye-bye.